Okay, good work, everyone. Um, we are continuing on Sichos Haran. First of all, good work, good week for everyone. We're starting the Sicha 14. We touched on it uh, vis-a-vis its influence on uh, Sicha number 13. Um, but it was only the very beginning. Uh, Sicha 14 is longer than that, and today, this evening, we will go over this and we will try to talk about this. And Sicha 14, Rabbeinu says as follows: Ani mekane me'od ish kosher. I'm very envious of somebody who may be termed a kosher Jew, an Elachid. Ki nidmeh shehoilech ben adam, because it seems like here goes a person im dakin vekarkoshas ve'ivarim kishar kol olam, with innards and digestive system and limbs like the entire world. Vafal pichen, but even so, is really a very, very different thing altogether. Because a kosher man, a kosher Joel Chayid, is a very precious commodity, very rare and very precious commodity. Fortunate is he. We have read this far last week. So let's go with the continuation of the Sikha so we can sort of like tie it together this week. The Ha'ikar, the most important thing, the crux of the matter. So he's talking about Ish Kosher Me'od, so there's a question like, how do you define Ish Kosher? How do you become Ish Kosher? So Rabbeinu immediately goes down, who zooms in on how you get there. The main thing is the will and the longing. To be an Ish Kosher, to be a good Jew. And Rabbeinu says, even though, one shouldn't be satisfied with just wanting. As it says, in Likutei Moharan, teaching number 66, says it's not enough to say, I want, okay, that's it. I'm in the right side of the fence. Because it's imperative to actually to manifest from potential to actuality. Dafka. Even though we have a principle that when a person is forced, HaKadosh Baruch Hu patters him, is not chayav. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, doesn't demand it from you. The Gemara says this is Baba Kama, Daf Kof Ches Amud Beis. Im kol zeh, still, this is for somebody he wants just to, not to have this black dot next to his name. He wants to be, okay, that's it, a check mark. I'm no longer, I'm off the list of bad guys. So, but this is only for somebody who wants, this is Ones Rachmana Patri. It's very important. The person should not be satisfied with that. With what? That what can I do? I'm Pater, it's just like a class of Avodas Hashem before, but only what? To actually do the service of Hashem in actuality, as it says in this teaching. That said, even that said, the will is also very good. That you hold in that you don't want to be considered, okay, he's off the hook. You don't want it. You really want to do it. That his longing is very strong, and his willpower is very, very strong. Liskas lazas as avodas Hashem efal. Not to be zocher to do avodas Hashem in action, to actually do it. Rabbeinu here goes deeper into that. First of all, he talks about a level of ratzon that you want to do what the Kodesh Baruch Hu wants to do. But what can you do? I mean, you're forced. So it says, okay, this is only good for somebody who wants to be off the hook. But somebody who really wants, who really wants to be Yaitza, really want to do Avodas Hashem, the fact that he's off the hook is not, it's not satisfactory enough. He wants to actually do what he needs to do. That in itself is a will. In other words, it might be that you have like stuck to it, and you are concentrating on not being off the hook is not good enough. You actually want to do it, and you might actually end up afterwards not being able to do it. Even after you decided, no, I don't care that I'm unable to do it. I want to do it even so, I want to do it. Off the hook is not good enough for me. I want to do it. That in itself is a full will. That is very, very good, even if eventually it came out that you couldn't do it. And that she says, he says, that will in and on itself is very, very good. And if even you wanted to do it, and you saw that you couldn't, you said, yeah, but that's not good enough, I still want to do it. If at the end you still couldn't do it, that will in and on itself is very, very good and very, very important. So let's take a quick look at what it is that we had over here, and see what it is that Rabbeinu is telling us. He says that there are 3 levels of wanting and getting, or rather wanting and not coming, not being able to do it. I'm not satisfied with just not doing it. That's not good enough. I want to do it. I want to be Yaitze. I want to actually do what it is that I want to do. For instance, somebody wants to go to Ummah and Rosh Hashanah. Well, when you want to go to Ummah and Rosh Hashanah, you should know to expect hindrances and obstacles that, when you look at them, look impossible to overcome. Literally impossible to overcome. So anybody who has been to Uman a few times knows that the mode of operation at that point in time is, there is no such thing as no. It's not an option. It's just not an option. And you throw yourself in. tell you a story. I told you guys, I think at least once, because I recycle the stories, um, about how I was in Oman one time, and one of the guys I was with, we were walking down next to the lake. Everybody knows what the lake is, and we saw this 15-year-old kid, slim guy at the time, amongst the dudes that were hanging out in the secular world, especially at that age. The uh, the um, the fashion was that the hair was gelled in spikes, like all over the head, and the very tip of the spikes was dyed blonde. I don't know if you remember those times, but this is, it's a very specific person, very specific uh, level of society that looked like that. Usually, that level, people that look like that were not the Uman goers, by and large. In fact, it is mostly people who, if I'm, if I can generalize like that, people that usually felt that religious people are more of a hindrance and disturbance to public peace than anything else. Just leave us alone, just enough. And this guy walks to us up the street with one of the, Uman Yamakas, with the head na na nach on it, or na, I don't remember. And the guy that was with me runs to him and hugs him and how are you and this, and ask him questions and how'd you come and how to this, how to that. And then he tells me this amazing story. The story of this boy. This boy is, I believe, from Rehovot, the town of Rehovot. His father is or was a very wealthy individual. And he told his father that, he is, a rich kid. He told his father he wants to go to Uman for Rosh Hashanah. His father said, over my dead body, you ain't going to Uman for Rosh Hashanah. Forget about it. What you're doing is I'm sending you to New York. Rosh Hashanah you're going to spend in New York, and I'm going to give you $5,000 spending money. Go ahead, go to New York, paint the town red. But the kid says, no, I want to go to Uman. The father says, you ain't going to Uman. You won't get a penny for me to go to Uman. There's no such thing. Just forget about it. Get it out of your head. The kid had a passport because he was going everywhere in the world with his father, whatever, or without his father, I don't know. And not a penny to go to Uman. And not only not a penny to go to Uman, even no way to get to the airport. 15-year-old kid, what do you want from him? A soft, rich kid, that everything he ever had in his life was given to him on a silver platter. And he wants to go to Uman. What he ended up doing, he was hitchhiking to go to the airport. This is where my friend saw him sitting down on a bench out, in the outside before the check-in, just sitting down and crying. 15-year-old girl just sitting down and crying. And he says, what happened? What's going on? So he told him, I want to go to Uman. So he said, I don't have any money. I don't have anything. I don't have. So my friend said, here. And he gave him $150. A ticket to Uman at that time, I don't know, $700, $800. I don't know, whatever it was. When we saw him in Uman, he said not only that, what happened was that there was another guy who was supposed to go and couldn't go. So it was an extra ticket, and he wanted to give it to somebody that could not afford going to Uman for Rosh Hashanah. And they found that kid, and they gave him that ticket. But together with that ticket was also the place to stay in Uman and food to eat in Uman. So the next time my friend saw this kid was in Uman with a place to stay and all the food he can eat. This is what Rabbeinu says, that when you don't want to be off the hook of wanting to do that which you need to do. That kid simply would not accept no as an answer. The minute his father told him no, what do you expect him to do? What can he do? He doesn't have any money. He doesn't even have any money to go to the airport. And even if he went to the airport, what's he going to do at the airport? What, they're giving out tickets for free? What's he going to do? So he's going to be by the airport. But the kid did not care. Why? Because he had this volition, this ratzon, this will, which will not be denied. Now, is it possible that that kid would have gotten stuck in the airport? Yeah. If Rabbeinu would not have wanted him to be in Uman because he would know that it's better for him not to be, he would not have come to Uman. He would stay in the airport. And Rabbeinu is telling us that that will, even if it wouldn't have worked out, is an extremely precious commodity. This is what we have been speaking about for a few weeks already, about how precious is wanting, the ratzon, the volition, the willpower. I can tell you that in more cases than not, in fact, probably the great majority of the cases when a person becomes monomaniacal, in other words, focus singly on one particular thing, wanting it with everything that he's got, he's going to get it. Whether it's good for him or not, but he's going to get it. That's the way Hashem runs the world. What you need to do, and this is what we spoke the last time, what you need to do is you need to take out your mind from the process. Because it is your mind that will trip you up. Nah, forget about how you're going to. Okay, how are you going to? First of all, you cannot go to the airport. And if you get to the airport, what are you going to do there? What are you going to? You're just making a fool of yourself. What somebody said? A ticket will fall from the sky? How ridiculous! That's actually what happened, quite literally. Yeah, but you say whatever, you can't count on that. It's not a question of counting that or not counting on that. The ratzon The will to serve a Kodesh Baruch Hu has nothing to do with whether it's going to come out or it's not going to come out. No, I want it to come out, and I refuse to accept any other option. But if after everything is said and done, you still get a no, the wanting, to the nth degree, as it were, is still incredibly, incredibly precious. To the point that will abide by you, will stay with you, will be made tov by you, will protect you, will speak before the heavenly tribunal on your cause, and save both you and your children. I have never ever seen a cause. I've never seen a cause that of Dover Shebekdusha. Truth be told, it's probably also true about material wealth as well, but they're just crazy. I've never seen a Dover Shebekdusha that the person who was going after it did not have to, at a certain point in time, abandon common sense. At a certain point in time, had to simply let his feet go and jump without knowing what's going to happen afterwards. It's funny because in Israel, the first prime minister of Israel used to go, his name was David Ben-Gurion, and he used to say that to count on miracles while they were, putting the state of Israel together, it says to count on miracles in Israel is being realistic. That's the only way you could do it. Without bringing miracles into cheshbon, it's just not feasible. You're not being realistic. The same thing applies to Avodas Hashem. You have to be so closed in, so locked on what it is that you want to do. And that's the only way to do it. And you'll notice that when you go after something, no matter what it is, if it's you're looking for a job, you want to get married, you want to buy an apartment, you want whatever you want to learn Torah, you want to daven, whatever, anything that you want to do, you'll notice that there are these 3 steps. First of all, you got to want it. Most of the people don't even want it. And secondly, once you want it, you have to stop letting your brain stop you. Rabbeinu says that the hardest obstacles to overcome are what is called mania samoyach, that the obstacles of one's own mind. Nah, forget about it. It's not going to happen. It's not realistic. Just forget it. This is something that you have to overcome. At a certain point in time, you have to say that being logic is no longer logical. Being realistic is no longer realistic. Rather, being realistic and being logical is irrelevant. Look at David, Rabbi Avram Statman. He built a whole shul like that. There was no way. There was just no way he's going to do it. Just no way. He's not a fundraiser. He's not a builder. He's not nothing. Build a whole shul, huge shul. Because he wouldn't take no for an answer. That's it. That's the only tool he had in his hand. Of course, once you're there, then you get Siyata D'Shmaya, Rabbeina's with you. Everything has happened. Everything comes to your aid. And it all boils down and it comes up. When Moshe Rabbeinu has put up the Mishkan, the tabernacle, they said that no single person can possibly put it up. During the 8 days of what they call the Shmoynes Yemei Miluim, the first, inauguration days, the Mishkan had to be put up and taken down and put up and taken down from beginning to end every single day. And Moshe Rabbeinu did it single-handedly. Now, no person could do it single-handedly. Later on, there were, literally crews of like 22,000 people who were in charge of doing it. The Levium. 22,000. Moshe Rabbeinu did it every day for 8 days. Moshe Rabbeinu said, how am I supposed to do this? So Kodesh Baruch Hu said, you just, just, you just do, do as if you're doing it, and I'll do the rest. Just, put it up and I'll finish it. So the question is that, then why couldn't anybody else do it? Push it up a little bit and I'll do the rest. Why Dafka Moshe Rabbeinu? Because Moshe Rabbeinu is the only one that had the clear understanding and clear resolution, gemiras das, clear resolution, clear, total acceptance that Hashem is doing it. All I got to do is want. That's it. That's it. And this week's Parsha, Dafka, this week's Parsha, Parshas Korach. There are many fascinating things that you can learn from this week's Parsha. One of them is that if you want to be satisfied, you have to want to be satisfied. Because if you're not willing to be satisfied, you will not be satisfied. And Korach was not satisfied. Because he wasn't willing to be satisfied. He had all kinds of terutzim, he had all kinds of kashas, all kinds of questions, whatever it is, but ultimately what he questioned the mila, the value of Ratzon. He came to Moshe Rabbeinu, with this sneer, with 250 Rashi Yeshivas, the giants of the generation. And they were all wearing this talis that was totally tchelas. And they said to Moshe Rabbeinu, is this talis pater from tzitzis? Does it need tzitzis or not? So Moshe Rabbeinu said, of course it needs tzitzis. Everybody was cracking up. Man, they were rolling on the floor laughing. It's the funniest thing in the world. You want to tell me that the regular tzitzis, one string of tchelis, part of it, a talis that is made totally of tchelis is not good enough? Okay, second question. A house full of Sefer Torah, does it need a mezuzah? Moshe Rabbeinu said, yeah, it needs a mezuzah. Forget about it. Groucho Marx has nothing to do with it. Forget about it. It was the funniest thing on earth. You want to tell me that the house full of Sefer Torah is not good enough? 3 pashas on the door, that's good enough? I mean, how ridiculous can you? What were they laughing at? What were they putting down? You see, there's 2 types of rotzins, of volition. One of them in which the volition is just a tool to get what you want. Once you get what you want, you just throw away the wanting, the longing, and there is a ratzon which is called ha'oras ratzon, the illumination of the ratzon, in which the ratzon itself, the volition itself, is the goal. That is the goal. What they belittled was the fact that, the Maisa mitzvahs, doing mitzvahs, wearing tzitzis, simple mitzvahs, mezuzah and tzitzis, it's the simplest thing that every simple Jew can do. What is it doing? What's the big deal? You're just you're tying some strings, you're putting something on your door. What are you doing? What you're doing is that deed that you did is filled with the eternal and endless, immense, majestic, splendid, unbelievable, unimaginable will for Kadosh Baruch Hu himself. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants you to put tzitzis on your beged. So when you put tzitzis on your beged, there is an immense will the entire reality cannot contain in this little strings that are hanging from your beged. When you're putting a mezuzah onto your door, the will of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is there. This endless, infinite will of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is in there. This is what Korach was belittling. Nah, it's a big deal. So I got a shul to daven. Says, okay, fine. I'm Yaitse off the hook. So what's going to be if I'm going to daven, whatever it is? What? Whether Kadosh Baruch Hu gives you what you want or it doesn't give you what you want, the will of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is in your simple deed that can be done only in this world. The value of this deed is Olam Haba. You're connecting Olam Hazeh with the Olam Haba. This is what Korach was separating. And this is the major difference between, in the Midah of Chesed, between love and lust. Love unites. When you love someone, you want to embrace them, you want to bestow upon them, you want to give them, you want to become one with them. Lust is the opposite of it. Lust is a separator. Lust is when the other or the thing is a tool to keep me separated. In fact, lust is not even about enjoyment at all. Lust is about dominion. When I have a lust for food and I fill up my plate with a steak which is an inch and a half, 2-inch thick, tomahawk, with a big bone, the whole, and I put it on my plate. And whatever it is that they put around it, it's not about enjoying the food. It's about owning it. It's about control. I have control. This is mine. The lust for money is not about the enjoyment from money, because they can't enjoy all the money that they have. There's no way. Once a very wealthy person very wise, told me, he said, look, you need a certain amount of money to live and a certain amount of money to be comfortable. Beyond that, it doesn't make any difference. This is only true if you're sane. And in many ways, he was a shtickle insane. Because Rabbeinu said that almost all wealthy people are insane. Because money is making people crazy. But the main thing, the main lust for money is not about enjoyment. It's about control. It's about ownership. Me alone. I own it, and not you. The same thing, the type for anything. Love is about connection. Taiva is about separation. It's a very, very deep issue because the ability to separate is the starting point of intelligence. A baby is unable to separate colors, people, words, anything. He has to be able to tell the difference between mommy, tati, somebody else, clothes, food, whatever it is. So it's an action of separation. And then it becomes our goal and our job to make it all one through the power of love. The power of love is not a power of taking. It's not takenism. A power of love is about giving, being in a given state. It's a very common failure of relationships. My wife understands me, doesn't understand me, my husband doesn't understand me, this one doesn't understand me, whatever. All these things is because I want to take and they don't give me. This is what it's all about. All they are is take, take, take. Yeah, of course, because all you are is take, take, take. No, but I deserve, I give them, so I want to take. No. Tit for tat. If I give, they got to give it to me because I give to them, is takenism. That's separation. That's not love. That's lust. It's a business deal. You know who makes business deals with love? Shem Yerachem. The main nakuda is that you want to lock into the Ratzon HaKadosh, the will in which the results are not the goal of the will, but rather the proof that you wanted it hard enough. In other words, this kid, the main thing, the most important thing that he had was the impossible to refuse, unbudging resolution to get to Uman. In a certain way, yeah, his goal was to go to Uman. He would not take no for an answer. But in a certain way, the biggest thing that he had was the ratzon to go to Uman. Getting to Uman was just a proof that he wanted it hard enough. The most important thing is the ratzon, the will. Each and every one of us was called at a certain point in time, sometimes many times, to get out of his envelope of comfort and just do the beyond. This is the power of love. This is the power of ratzon. You go beyond the call of duty. Taiva, mind you, leads to the same thing. People have taiva for money, will work endless hours. We will not eat, will not sleep. We'll go beyond the call of duty in order to keep themselves separate. I'm the boss. It all belongs to me. It's my money, not you. And on the other hand, you do everything for Kedusha. You do everything to get close to Kodesh Baruch Hu. From the separation, you get to oneness. Rabbeinu says that even if, after all, the Kodesh Baruch Hu has decided, you know something? I don't want you to have it. Or rather, I want you not to have it. And you feel broken to pieces. You feel like you're torn apart. You feel cursed. You feel, I don't know what. Then it's time for one to remind himself, it's not about me. It's about the Kodesh Baruch Hu. Whatever it is that I have done in my life, if I feel regret, why did I do this, why did I do that? It's because I still haven't been able to surrender my emunah that I'm the one who messed things up. I'm no good. And I cannot forgive me and anybody else who was around me who enabled me to trip myself up into self-sabotage. Let go. Let go. Let go. From the future, put everything you got. Put everything you got into it. Don't take no for an answer. There's no day. There's no night. There's no boundaries for good, for dvekus, for making it all one. Whatever happened in the past, it's not yours. It has nothing to do with you. That's the way HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted it. And you may meet it when you put everything you got into HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, no. The main thing was not lost. The main thing was the will to do it. The will to go after it no matter what. It's not such thing as ain't gonna happen. Just, it ain't happening. Not happening ain't happening. You may ultimately, every now and then, have to contend with the fact that Kadosh Baruch Hu wanted it not to happen. Then your nisayon is to accept that it was not about you. It's not about your will being fulfilled. It's about doing what a Kadosh Baruch Hu wants. But that's already the work for the big boys. When you're swimming with sharks, then you get that kind of, because you really, really, really got to want it for Kadosh Baruch Hu, for the Veikus in Hashem. To be able to accept and know when you threw yourself into the pond, you jumped off a cliff for Kadosh Baruch Hu, and you didn't get what you wanted to get. And he says, okay, I'm giving this to you as well. This is a kosher Jew. This is the meaning of being a kosher Jew. Baruch Hashem, we have a Rebbe. You have to understand that the tzaddik is the light of all the olamas that fills all the universes. That's the way HaKadosh Baruch Hu created creation. The light of the tzaddik is the light that fills all the olamas from Lamala, from the Atzilus all the way down to the Asiyah. It's the biggest force there is. the tzaddik has a different relationship with the Kodesh Baruch Hu. The tzaddik no longer goes overboard. Going overboard is the way he became a tzaddik. Once he's a tzaddik, he's already in negotiation with the Kodesh Baruch Hu. That's Moshe Rabbeinu. Ask Kodesh Baruch Hu, Kodesh Baruch Hu tells him what to do. This is already, then you're talking about high politics. Now you're talking about how you talk to the Caesar. How do you talk to the emperor? How do you deal with it? Your request, and how many words does it put it? Rabbeinu used to write a few words on a piece of paper and then burn it. And then it says that's the way you send requests to the emperor. That's a whole different. It's not we're supposed to scream. We're supposed to and we're supposed to rely on the schus of the Saba de Samin de Kedusha, Rabbeinu HaKodesh. And we'll be matzliach because we will not take no for an answer. We will not take no for an answer. Let the goyim sing they are the champions. Go ahead. Rabbeinu says, "B'shuvas Shem Shivas Sion Ayini Kechomim," right? Our mouth will be filled with laughter because the goyim will realize that Igdil Hashem Asot Imanu, whatever greatness they had, we are the champions. Igdil says on the mail, Kadosh Baruch Hu, this was our greatness all along. And it was a wow. It was an impossible. Today you can't even understand this kind of chap, because they're on top, we're on the bottom, no? Because Baruch Hu B'Zrat Hashem should help us all, should be zeicha to understand that every single good wanting, any single good longing, if you hear these words and you go like, oh man, I wish I could do this. I wish I could do that, man. But I keep on stopping when I'm demanded to go beyond my envelope of comfort. Or maybe I'm not even able to start wanting. I go to shul and I say, today I will want to daven. Maybe today, maybe. A little bit. Yeah, maybe yes, maybe not. And obviously when you go that way, it ain't happening. Even before you start, you already know it's not going to happen. And even if you already say, yeah, today it's happening, whilst you're going on it, there'll come a certain point in time in which your mind will come in and will say, yo, dude, what are you doing? You're not going to accomplish anything. Just forget about it. Can't you see the meeting is running ahead? Nobody's waiting for you. So it's Thursday today. You're going to miss Chris Torah. We're going to stand there, davening Shmoneh Esrei, like all this. But the other meaning after, yeah, but at a certain point in time, you'll have to break through the sound barrier of your mind, of your seichel. Put your mind aside and forge ahead. And even if it doesn't work, at the end, it comes out not to work, which is very rare. You should know that even though you haven't left wing marks in the air, does not say that you haven't soared. Because the Zohar Kodesh says, "Les Rus Atava Disavit." There's no one single good rotzin, a will for good, a yearning for good, a yearning to be good, to do good, that ever gets lost. Okay, that will be